Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Vision, the show all about the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm Lindsay Poe, your host, and today we've got Dr. Tommy Anderson in studio, and I'm going to wait to say all of his titles. I'm going to say hi to you first.
Hello there. Hello there.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for coming in. Absolutely. So, Dr. Anderson, you are a professor in the English department, one. Number two, you direct the Office of Prestigious External Scholarships.
That's right.
And then your third title is Interim Assistant Dean
That's right.
to Academic Affairs. So a lot of hats, not to mention that you're a husband and a father.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I don't know what links all those, but that's right.
So lots to talk about today. We're going to mostly talk about the scholarships, but I want to start off, kind of tell us a synopsis of your path to MSU. You said you've been here for 14 years, but what was before that? How did you get here?
Well, I got my PhD at Vanderbilt in 2000.
Okay.
And from Vanderbilt, I got my first job in New Hampshire. I was in New Hampshire for 2 years, and we loved it. It was deeply cold.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went back on the market, and I'm a Shakespearean in the English department, and Mississippi State was hiring a Shakespearean in 2005, and I got lucky and got that job. Now, before the New Hampshire gig, I spent time at Penn State, got my master's degree there, and I actually did my undergraduate at Vanderbilt a long time ago. After I graduated Vanderbilt as an undergrad, I taught 6 years in a high school in Nashville, Tennessee, which is my hometown.
Yeah, so New Hampshire to Mississippi, definitely a weather shock,
Yes,
but you're from Nashville,
exactly.
so you kind of know the deep South. Okay, so you've been here for 14 years, a professor in the English department, lots of accolades there, but then you decide to take on directing the Office of Prestigious External Scholarships. Talk to us about that. That's a kind of a lengthy title. Can you explain to us what that office is? What do you do?
Sure. Yeah. So I think about 8 or 9 years ago, the Honors College decided to invest in a director of external scholarships. What we realize is that we have some amazing students at Mississippi State, amazing students in the College of Arts and Sciences, and we wanted to give them a chance to compete at the national level for several big opportunities. Opportunities like the Rhodes Scholarship, the Truman Scholarship, the Gates Cambridge, Fulbrights, all these nationally competitive scholarships that other students at other places were winning. And we felt like it was time to provide a single space where a student can come and get mentoring, get advice, and be presented with these opportunities. So Dean Snyder, Chris Snyder and the Honors College asked me to come aboard to develop that program. And that's what I've been doing for the last, I think, 7 years, 6 or 7 years.
Okay, and you were kind of talking about, before we started this, that you get phone calls about, you know, how do I get a scholarship? That's not
right.
what this is.
Oh, that's a great point.
This is external. Can you just focus on that again,
right.
just kind of clarify for our viewers?
Sure. So every student wants scholarship money, and they want a scholarship. And so there are two types. There are internal scholarships that Mississippi State provides through the Office of Scholarship and Admissions. And those are different. Those are things that I don't mentor or administer. What I'm talking about are scholarships that require university endorsement and that are outside of the scope of the university, where students are competing from every university in the nation for a small amount of scholarship opportunity. So if a student says, I need money to go to, I'm a senior, I need money to come to MSU, that's a different question, and I would direct them to admissions and scholarships.
Right. So as a faculty member, or if a faculty member is watching this, how can we send people your direction? How can we mentor students to this opportunity, I guess?
Well, yeah, so we have amazing faculty who are already doing this, and what I think they do well is they listen to undergraduates early on, and they take seriously an undergraduate's dream that might sound really big and impractical for a freshman to say, I'd love to go to Oxford and be a Rhodes Scholar, or I'd love to go to graduate school at Stanford. Some of our best faculty hear that and take that seriously and provide early opportunities for research and mentorship and development, even as a freshman or sophomore.
Okay.
That's what the best faculty who are interested in mentoring a Rhodes Scholar are doing, it seems to me.
Okay, and there are some common awards that you've talked about, or scholarships. The Rhodes, the Truman, the Fulbright. I think like the common person, they hear that, they sort of get it,
Yeah,
but there's kind of a laundry list,
Yeah.
not to make it sound like it's not a big deal, but of other awards or scholarships. Can you kind of just talk about some of the other opportunities?
Yeah, let me kind of organize them just a little bit.
Okay.
The biggest and most prestigious scholarships are the UK, basically the UK scholarships, graduate school scholarships, and those are the Rhodes, the Gates Cambridge, the Churchill, and I'm going to include the Knight Hennessy to go to Stanford and the Schwartzman to go to China. Those are graduate school kind of Rhodes-like scholarships. They put you in a cohort of great students that'll follow you forever in your professional life.
Okay.
That's one side. Another side of the scholarship world are the Fulbrights. We're talking about scholarships that send seniors or graduates to foreign countries to immerse themselves in language study and to teach in that country or to do research in country. My office has a Fulbright advisor. His name is David Hoffman. He's a professor of anthropology, and he's tasked with mentoring those scholarships.
Okay.
We recently had a Boren scholarship winner, which the Boren is like the Fulbright. She's going to China for a semester to study. David Hoffman mentored her.
Okay.
And then there's this third middle that are the Truman, the PPIA, that are kind of public service scholarships that are competitive, and they're trying to kind of find and support the next generation of leaders, either political leaders or community activists.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll have more with Dr. Tommy Anderson coming up after this short break.
You know the scene in those popular TV crime shows when the investigators show up? The one where they scratch their heads while trying to figure out who committed the homicide and when? At Mississippi State University, we're solving mysteries behind real-life crime scenes with forensic research that's a first of its kind. Teaming with microbiologists from around the country, we're examining microscopic bacteria that can help solve real murders. So far, our partnership with a major metropolitan medical examiner is yielding results with more than 200 real-life crime samples analyzed. We're learning how microbiomes change and relocate, uncovering evidence in criminal investigations by better pinpointing time of death. Way more exciting than being a TV detective. We're finding crucial answers when they're needed most. Solving mysteries with science, that's worth watching. Imagine the flu as something children read about in history books. We are at Mississippi State University, where we ring true.
Welcome back to Vision. We're here with Dr. Tommy Anderson talking about external scholarships, and we're going to focus on kind of maybe a lesser known scholarship just to kind of hit all the different types.
Yeah, so in addition to the big ones, the Rhodes and the Truman, there are a group of scholarships for students that might propel them to a Rhodes or a Truman later on.
Okay.
And one of those I'm thinking of is something like the Public Policy and International Affairs Scholarship that sends students to one of 5 public policy institutions at Berkeley, Princeton, Minnesota, Harvard over the summer to be part of a group of about 35 other students.
Okay.
And take courses on international relations and actually produce a publishable paper on some current international crisis. Now that's a junior year award.
Wow, yeah.
And if a student were to receive one of those, and we have one this year, Khalil Markham is going to Minnesota as a PPIA fellow, they all of a sudden become they start thinking of themselves as a potential Rhodes Scholar nominee or a Truman nominee. So they're kind of they're important moments in an undergraduate's career.
Right. So that sort of springboards them potentially to the next step as a senior. But during the break, we were talking about how this almost springboard maybe their career in some sense.
Right.
It follows them. I mean, this is prestigious, literally means, that these kids are very smart. So I'm assuming that follows them, right?
It does. So one of the unique aspects of these scholarships is that you become part of a community of Goldwater winners or a Rhodes community. And these students who win these awards, they're leaders, and they become dependent and reliant on each other. And so you're part of a cohort of community leaders that will follow you for the rest of your life. And I think, professionally and personally, being a part of such achievement is transformative. And I mean, I can only imagine what that's like.
Right. And we've had several recently in the past 5 years. I mean, we know Field Brown,
Sure.
Rhodes Scholar. What are some of the characteristics that you just see with these students that come through your office and win?
Well, I think one of the baseline characteristics of winners is that they're curious and they're willing to take academic risks. They're not bound by a curriculum. They're interested in defining or pushing the boundaries of what's possible intellectually. So they might do more than the curriculum demands, right? All of our winners have had international experience, so I think the international experience is critical in shaping a perspective of a future Rhodes or Truman Scholar.
Okay.
And they're all academically gifted.
Right. Where is this office? I totally missed that.
Oh, that's
right?
a great question.
Students who are watching are like, hey, I know you can use the internet and just Google it, but let's tell them, where are you located?
So I'm located in Griffiths Hall, and it's in the Honors College, second floor of Griffiths Hall, but it serves the whole university. So I'm over there in the Honors College, but every student at Mississippi State, undergraduate, can avail themselves of my services, of the office's services. It's a full service kind of visit.
Okay.
I'll help them pinpoint scholarships that interest them. I'll work on personal statements, letter of recommendations. I help shape a CV or a resume. So it's just a small trek to Griffiths, but I think it's worth it.
Okay, and we only have a few seconds left, but I don't want to forget that you are also in the dean's office. Maybe, not as exciting of a job,
sure.
but you are an interim dean.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. That's all the time we
Thank you.
have.
Sure, thank you.
It was so nice talking to you, and it was so nice of you to join us on this edition of Vision. We'll see you next time.